The moment Maya saw her reflection in the shop window, her chest tightened with a shame so raw it nearly stole her breath. She was wearing her mother's old dress, hemmed twice now. The fabric faded from repeated washings, and her feet were crammed into sneakers held together by sheer determination and duct tape. In 12 hours, she would walk across that stage to receive her diploma, the first person in her family to graduate from college, and she looked like she'd crawled out of a thrift store bin. The unfairness of it crashed over her in waves. Every other girl in her class would have new shoes, probably designer ones, definitely ones without holes, and she would have these broken reminders that life hadn't given her the same starting line as everyone else. That's when she noticed him. He was standing outside the coffee shop next door, dressed in a charcoal suit that probably cost more than everything she owned combined, holding 2 steaming cups. She recognized him vaguely. He'd been in her business communications class last semester, always sitting in the back, rarely speaking. She'd assumed he was a teaching assistant or maybe an older student. He had the kind of quiet presence that made people forget you were there. He was looking at her shoes. "Those are quite the statement piece," he said, a slight smile playing at his lips as he walked over. His tone wasn't cruel. If anything, it was gentle, almost amused at his own observation. "I'm James, by the way. We were in Professor Henderson's class together." Maya felt heat flood her cheeks. "Maya. And yeah, well..." She glanced down at the sneakers, debating whether to lie or admit the truth. Something in his eyes made her choose honesty. "I'm graduating tomorrow, and I don't have shoes that don't make me look like I raided a garage sale." James didn't flinch or offer the kind of pitying smile she'd come to dread from certain people. Instead, he examined his own polished Oxford shoes thoughtfully. They looked expensive, impeccably maintained, the kind of shoes that whispered money in a way that was almost obscene to someone like Maya. "What size are you?" he asked. 7.5. "But don't..." "I wear a 9. Might be loose, but better than what you've got going on." He was already loosening, his feet from the shoes, pulling them off right there on the sidewalk, with the ease of someone completely unbothered by social convention. He held them out to her. "Try them on." "I can't take your shoes." "You need them for..." Maya didn't even know what. "Work? Everywhere he went today?" He couldn't possibly mean this. "I'll figure it out," he said, and there was something in his voice that made her believe him. Not the casual kindness of someone performing charity, but the genuine unconcern of someone who'd never had to worry about small obstacles. "What time is your graduation?" 10 in the morning. "I'll meet you at the student center at 9:30. You can give them back to me then." She should have asked more questions. She should have been suspicious. She should have recognized that this was too easy, too perfect, the universe making up for something. But desperation and hope are a powerful combination, and Maya was drowning in both. The shoes fit almost perfectly, held secure against her feet with the borrowed laces tying everything together, a perfect metaphor she didn't examine too closely. That night she barely slept. She'd cleaned the shoes obsessively, polished them until they gleamed like new money. She practiced walking in them, worried about blisters and slipping. But mostly, she thought about James, about why a stranger would do something so kind, so immediate, so completely genuine. Her mother had raised her to be suspicious of such kindness, to look for the angle. But Maya, at 22, still wanted to believe in goodness. When she walked across that stage the next morning, her feet in James's shoes, she felt something shift inside her. Not just confidence, though, that was part of it. It was belonging. Those shoes said something she couldn't afford to say for herself. That she mattered enough for someone to care. James was waiting when she emerged, barefoot, carrying his shoes like precious cargo. "You're going to get blisters," he said, eyeing her feet. "Worth it." She smiled, and for the first time in months it felt genuine. "Thank you. I don't know how to repay you." He took the shoes, rolling up his pant legs to put them back on. His expression had shifted into something more serious, more thoughtful. "Can I tell you something? A confession of sorts?" Maya's stomach dipped. Here it came. The angle, the catch. "I grew up poor. Really poor. Food stamps, eviction notices, the whole nightmare. And there was this girl in my elementary school who let me borrow her lunch on days when my family couldn't afford to feed me. She never made a big deal of it. Just did it. And I swore that if I ever got out, I'd remember that feeling. I'd remember what it meant when someone saw you, weren't okay, and just helped. Maya felt something crack open inside her chest. I'm CEO of Morrison Analytics now, he continued. And she blinked, processing this information, which sounds like it's supposed to mean something, but really it just means I have resources. And yesterday, I saw you, and I thought about that girl. I thought about how much that small kindness meant. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, don't worry about repaying me. You already have. The tears came then, hot and unexpected, because kindness in the world was rarer than she'd been taught it should be, and seeing her own struggle reflected in his history felt like someone finally saying, "You are not alone in this. Your pain means something." "There's something else," he said, pulling out his phone. "I'd like to offer you an internship, paid. Competitive pay, actually. Starting next month. No strings attached. Well, except that you'd be working in our marketing department, which I think you'd be exceptional at based on that presentation you gave. Henderson's class." Maya thought her heart might literally stop functioning. Over the next months, that internship became a job offer. The job offer became a career. James never made it awkward, never expected gratitude beyond her excellent work ethic. But somewhere along the way, between team lunches and late-night project crunches, they fell into something neither of them had planned for, a partnership built on the foundation of kindness and recognition that we all carry our own blisters, visible or otherwise. 2 years later, at a charity gala James was hosting, Maya found herself standing beside him in a beautiful new dress and shoes she'd bought herself. When he asked why she was smiling so hard, she told him she was thinking about broken sneakers and borrowed Oxfords. "The best investments I ever made," he said, pulling her closer. "And I'm not talking about the company. Life had given them different starting lines, but kindness had drawn them to the same finish line. In a world that often felt designed to keep people divided by circumstance, they'd learned that sometimes all it takes is someone willing to step out of their shoes so someone else could step up. And that, Maya thought, watching the city lights sparkle around them, was worth far more than any pair of shoes could ever be.